Why are you DJ Edblvzer?
Why am I DJ Edblvzer? Man, DJ Edblvzer was created since he was a kid. He always had a passion for music, for the industry, and music was one thing that it was always a escape right for him. So ever since a kid, he had influences like for family, uncles, and other friends as well. And the name Edblvzer just created for a whole passion of everything that he's been through, everything that he has learned, lived, and experienced throughout his whole time to this point. So that's DJ Edblvzer for you.
And I love that because, I mean, who doesn't have stories like that, right? Like people want someone that they can relate to, right? So what, like, obviously your story is yours to share. You don't have to share anything too personal, but like, what are some things that you've been through that music helped you get through?
Man, I mean, first and foremost, I wasn't born here, so I'm from Guatemala. So the trajectory of everything that I came through across the border, I went through this experience as a kid. I was just like, man, like I was just like 8, 9 years old when I did all of that. So just sharing my story and everything as well, I feel like, oh, that created something within who I am today. Because
Yeah.
that experience really is like a traumatic experience to go through as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, you could go through a lot of things and everything as well, but I feel that was the start of everything of who I am today.
Man, that's insane. So music helped you get through that process of
Yeah.
coming from one country, your home country, to America.
Yes, exactly.
Man, that's crazy.
So it's like therapy to you, kind of like.
Yeah, music
your-
always been therapy to me. It's always been a like escape route. Like it's always been something that is I take it to the heart, and it's a passion to me,
Yeah.
honestly. Because like I feel like without music today, man, I don't know where I will be. You know, besides like family, friends, and everything else helping me throughout my history of lifetime. I feel like music has a big impact in my life.
Man, so tell me real quick, was it DJing or like what kind of music were you listening to at first when you were young?
So at first it was more tropical music.
Okay.
From where I'm from, you know, we listen a lot to like merengue, cumbia, salsa, and by that time there was like a lot of reggaeton going on as well.
Okay.
So that started everything in the passion. And like my family, my like the native of my family, they love to party. They love, you know, an extra baganza of everything stuff. But that music of everything just started everything. When I got here to America, how everything started with my passion again with music was electronic music.
Mm.
Okay.
So I listened to a lot of techno, a lot of house, and a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Electronic. So electronic helped me a lot to survive a lot of things as well with that through other music and everything.
You know that's interesting that you say that. That when you said when you got here you started listening to electronic music.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that. Just my experience personally, my family comes from Mexico, and they essentially brought their music and never left it, right? So I found it very interesting that like how did you find electronic music and how'd you know, oh, this speaks to me, you know?
Man, honestly, the way I found electronic music was I always was that type of guy to be curious about everything, about
Okay.
different genres of everything, even like with life and stuff. So I always like to give a chance of something like let me try this, let me give a chance to this and everything. So I gave it a try, and then you know, first artist I ever actually listened to was Tiesto.
Hmm.
So Tiesto has been impacting
Yeah,
within
cool.
my music of electronic and everything. So that's how I started building like everything slowly but surely. With everything.
Man, it's so cool to hear how people find their music, the music that speaks to their soul. Because if you think about it, there's not one person on this planet who doesn't need music in their life, some
Yeah.
form of it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, music with. I was watching just recently like a documentary of reggaeton and hip hop and everything, and it's just like the whole back history of a lot of things. Just like to the point that they got here, they went through a lot of politics things and
Yeah.
everything like that's what you know. So music is escape to everybody, in like no matter where you're from, you know.
That's true. That's true.
So in your family, I know you said like you obviously had like these big parties and stuff like that. Everyone's into music. Was there other DJs in your family, other people playing music, or just instruments, or?
Yeah. So I had two uncles that they were DJs out there.
Oh, cool.
So they were the first one that sparked something within my music of therapy, within my passion of what I wanted to be and everything.
Yeah.
So first, like I started just helping them, like helping them run equipment.
Yeah.
And like slowly by slowly, they started like showing me how to do this, how to do that. But that started pretty much everything. And then when I moved here, I had another uncle as well that he was a DJ. So pretty much like my change up here, I adopted who was big girl and adopted to be here. So he helped me a lot as well to who I am today as well too.
Cool.
And he was like the first one to give me like my first controller, my equipment.
Wow.
When he retired.
Yeah.
That's cool. So let me ask you, your first attempt at music, did you know right away DJ, or did you try like singing, you try rapping, or what was it?
Man, that's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because when I've never pictured anything when I started in my own country. Like everything just started like a passion.
Yeah.
When I got here, that's when I started like being curious about like everything. So I started being curious about being a singer, a rapper, a DJ, producer, like doing anything that had to do anything with entertainment, media and everything else as well. But I did start like as a rapper, me writing my own lyrics.
Oh,
me
sweet.
Singing,
That's
and all
awesome.
that stuff, and that's little by little. That's where I created like producing, and like the producing made me into like the DJ and everything
Yeah.
else as well. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I always like to hear like where people, because artists find themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're very few are lucky to say, the first song is who I am and it's who I've been forever.
Yeah.
We've all evolved our sound. You know what I'm saying? So I hear a lot in your story. Family, music, I love that it's intertwined. How do they feel about your profession today of you being a DJ?
They feel proud. They feel proud, you know. They always like giving me advices like, hey, you feel stuck here somewhere, try and find something else. Like finding the same criteria in the categories you in, but like building yourself more. You know, like don't stop just there and just get stuck there. Because, you know, eventually there's a point in your life, in everybody's life, that you like, oh, I made it here. What's my next move?
Yeah.
I made it here. What's my next step? I made it here. How can I get out of here now?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So they always like advise me and telling me like, hey, you know, like do this, do that. Like, you know, there's a lot of trends going on. There's a lot of technology that we have nowadays that you could do anything within your hands of your in your own house. You know?
Yeah.
So,
that's facts.
so
I mean,
they always like helping me and like cheering me on and everything. You know, so they've been a great support so far with everything I'm doing.
I love that, man.
Sweet.
Support in this industry is huge, you know?
And then, so when it comes to DJing, obviously you found love for it. You had some family members back home and here that kind of got you into it, helped you pass some stuff down to you. When was it, like, professionally? Obviously, like, you're doing nightclubs, you're doing other events and stuff like that. Like, that's nothing to take lightly. Like, these are huge events that you're doing. So when was it that you kind of realized you could do this more professionally, or, like, you got your first shot at, like, a club or a bar or some type of event?
Man, let me say, before I get into that, like, a little backstory, like, everything. I always done private gigs, family parties, of family friends and everything. My uncle, like, he was the one that took me to different venues when I got here and everything as well. But professionally wise, the point I'm here today is COVID.
COVID.
So COVID, you know, COVID broke a lot of people. It made a lot of people.
That's facts.
Like, it broke me, but it made me at the same time.
Yeah.
So professionally, I'll say like 2019, like around 2018, 2019, like slowly right there when COVID hit, like I was like, man, what's my next move?
Yeah.
Like, cause for a while I stopped doing, cause I focused so much on working and whatsoever. So I started living my passion on the side. But when COVID hit, like what am I doing now? You know? What's my
next?
life going to be from now on? You know, so like I pretty much like I already had my controller, my first controller and everything already. So pretty much I dedicated myself. Like COVID was like, I took classes, I went to school, I developed my skills of like everything that I know now, and I was just like in my house, not doing nothing because everyone's shut down, like back to back, just sitting on a computer for like days and hours, just practicing on my board, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? This is like the fourth interview, correct me if I'm wrong, third or fourth, where we've heard of an artist like they broke through in
Yeah.
COVID. Like
Yeah.
COVID was that switch for them.
Yeah.
That's it. How crazy is it that music, which is pretty social, especially as a DJ, right?
Yeah.
The social thing broke out in the most antisocial time of all time that I know of, you know?
Yeah.
Man. So tell me, after COVID, how did you know, oh, this is working for me? Like, what was that moment for you?
Man, the more I realized that is when I knew that with everything put together with what I went through, COVID, and the future what I was looking for, I knew that ever since I was a kid, I knew that I wanted to be in that position, in this position that I am today. So I took a risk. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna do it. Whatever troubles, problems, turbulence that I go through, you know, I'm gonna have somebody to help me through it.
Yeah.
You know, I always picture that. I always manifest that. So that point of everything was pretty much, we were doing an event in Oakland, in where they used to do all the side shows on 7th Street and all of that.
Allegedly.
So
Yeah.
allegedly, you know,
He wasn't there.
allegedly, you know. So basically, we did a party there, and from there I started meeting like a lot of DJs, promoters, a lot of people that were a lot in like social media and days and stuff. But like I knew now, like I had to grasp something from somebody.
Yeah.
And then, you know, somebody literally came, and then they looked at me and looked at themselves like, hey, you know, you remind me of me back in the day.
That's cool.
So he took me under his wing. Shout out to DJ Lando. He was like the first one that took me under his wing. And then from there, man, he just showed me everything he knew. And everything he knew, I built it in my own criteria as who I am today.
That's awesome, man. So you spoke a little bit there in that story about the future, right? What is the future for you? Like, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years?
In 5 years, man, I want to be traveling for sure. I want to be a travel DJ.
Okay.
You know, travel, you know, around the world, you know, everywhere I dream to be at, you know. It's funny enough, where I DJ nowadays in all these nightclubs, I used to party in them. And I always dream, like, one day I'm going to be here.
That's
and
cool.
One day I'm going to start manifesting this. And, man, thank God, till this day, I've played in every nightclub that I was partying in before. Now I'm a DJ in them, you know. So my future in 5 years, I picture like I want to travel, get to know my connection to expand more, my brand to expand more. Because like besides me being just DJ Edblvzer, my like whole company entertainment is PORLABUENAVIDA ENT,
Okay.
which that stands for the good life, pretty much, you know. So
Good life entertainment.
Yes, exactly. Good life and event. So pretty much I just want to build a whole brand. Just not as my own self as a DJ, but as a whole company with everything that I'm trying to build. You know?
I love that. Right as you said that, the lights came on.
Yeah.
It's a genius idea.
It's a sign.
It's a genius idea. And you know what? I just want to say, for me personally, having a family or come from a family that came from a different country to make sure that their family had a better life, I think it's very inspiring that you came from another country to, it doesn't matter, it's America. You came from one place to another and you set out to do a dream, and you're doing it right now. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people watching who can be inspired by that. What are some words, but to close us off with some words for anyone watching who are too afraid to take the risk like you just mentioned?
Man, honestly, I'll say just take it. If there's always gonna be second guessing yourself, regardless of what it is in life, you know. But just take the risk, take the opportunity, take the one step that you always scared of taking. And once you take those steps, you know, there's a saying that I always say is, you know, it's like a baby, you know. The first thing they do is start crawling.
Mm-hmm.
After they start crawling, they want to learn how to walk. If they fall, you get back up, and you just keep walking and just keep going until you have that mentality already and that step forward before you think the thought. You have the step forward already, just looking for what's next, you know. So I'm just like, don't give up and just keep moving forward and keep pushing forward.
Every guest we've had so far, gems. I love that.
Motivational,
I love that.
inspiring.
That
Yeah.
was very inspirational. Thank
Nah,
you for
thank
that.
you. Yeah.
Tell the
Thank
audience
you.
where they can find you, where they can follow you.
So they can find me on social media, Edblvzer, so it's spelled EDBLVZEER, and that's in all my own social media, Edblvzer. I created now a new page as well. It's called PORLABUENAVIDA ENT, so you guys can find me there as well.
Is that only on Instagram?
In all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok,
X, Twitter.
Twitter, and all of that.
Love it. I love that, man.
Sweet.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Remember, when you think nobody's listening, somebody is.